Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to BST, everybody. I hope you're all having a wonderful Saturday. If that's when you're watching this, if you're watching this on Sunday, hopefully I'm right about my picks. Probably won't be. That's just the name of the game. But yeah, today got a lot of NFL stuff to talk about. We're going to do the championship preview, like I just alluded to. We're going to talk about Jesse Minter becoming the new Ravens head coach. Really like that move. And then we'll talk about the Bills' just decision to fire Sean McDermott. I talked about it a little bit on the last podcast, but I want to talk about the events that have preceded that move, and kind of the trajectory of the Bills franchise as a whole right now. Because it's not going too great down there in Buffalo, New York. So yeah, let's just get right into this thing. Let's start with Jesse Minter. He becomes the new Ravens head coach. This is a phenomenal hire. He's been Harbaugh's DC in LA for the past 2 years. That Harbaugh's been there. Great coach. And I like this move so much because you're not moving so far away from your identity. You're staying with the same kind of tree. Minter was under John Harbaugh in Baltimore. I think it was like the early 2020s, before Jim came to the NFL. And I think Jesse Minter was also at Michigan. But before that, I think it was like the late 2010s, early 2020s. He was in Baltimore helping John Harbaugh with various things on defense. So to me, if you're going to fire John Harbaugh, this is about as good of a move as you can make to try to switch things up, but still keep the same identity you've had for the past 20 years or whatever it's been with John Harbaugh. It's been a long ass time, and it's not easy to replace a coach like that. But what better way to replace a coach like that than get a guy with a similar philosophy, a guy who's been around his brother, been around him, and a defensive guy. And it just feels right. Baltimore is a defensive. It feels like, I mean, look at all the great Baltimore defenses. I mean, Lamar's been great, no doubt. And the offense has been great these past couple of years. But to me, when I think of Baltimore, I think toughness, defense. And especially this year, it's been something that's been lacking in Baltimore. So I somewhat supported the move. You sometimes you just got to move on. And Harbaugh, he wasn't even a defensive guy. I believe he's a special teams guy, before he became a head coach. So, taking nothing away from Harbaugh, like the guy's great. The guy's awesome. He's going to do a phenomenal job for the Giants. Not taking anything away from him. But for the Ravens, this is like an A+ hire for me because, like I said, you're just, it's like a lateral move, and that's good because, I mean, you can say what you want about Harbaugh, like they have had success. Like like this year they missed the playoffs. It's by a game-winning kick, you know? And their owner is an awesome guy. I'm sure you guys have seen all the press conferences with him. Like the guy seems like just an awesome owner. Really good to his players, coaches. If I can get this stupid Devontae Adams thing to stand up. There we go. Just seems like a really cool dude. Really good at the mic. Way better than Jerry Jones and Bills owner we're about to talk about. But so I at the end of the day, like I think this is just such a phenomenal hire. Like I couldn't really think of a better one. And I called it from the start. I'm like, it makes too much sense that Minter would go to Baltimore. And who knows how it will pan out? Who knows if Minter is head coach material? Some guys just aren't. Some guys are just coordinators through and through. They're they're genius at calling plays. But when it comes to the side of coaching where you have to develop relationships, I mean, they can develop relationships, but you have to be the lead dog. You have to be the one to stand at the front of your pack, front of your team, and lead them through battle. And some guys just aren't cut out for that. Like Mike McDaniel, who is going to LA. We might as well talk about that. I think that's a great hire. because, I mean, the guy, Mike McDaniel, like we're saying with genius play callers, I mean, he is a genius. The way he pairs the run with the pass, I mean, it's Shanahan-esque, off the same tree. I mean, he is so good at that. Where he had some shortcomings in Miami was he wasn't super good with the players, I don't think. And I'm not sure that there was really like a falling out there, but you could just tell he like in the media he wasn't great. I think he's just cut out to be a play caller. And I know he's interviewing for the Bills job. He's interviewed for a number of jobs, but I think at least for now he's a coordinator. Um, and I just saw a report that he's interviewing for the Bills job, even though the Chargers got him as their OC. So I think that's kind of like a conditional thing where kind of like Flores. Flores signs his deal and any other team can interview him still and maybe still bring him in as a head coach. But the Vikings have extended him if that is not the case, which is great for the Vikings. I hate that though. I hate facing Flores, dude. The guy's a madman. So honestly, Pittsburgh, y'all better call and try to get Flores in there because I mean Flores would be a dog in Pittsburgh. With that defense, I think he'd really get those guys playing really, really, really well. So Flores is a whole nother story, but absolutely should be a head coach. And I think it's kind of funny because Mike McDaniel probably got fired for not being as hard on his players in Miami, and Flores got fired because he was too hard on his players and, frankly, a dick to Tua. But I mean, telling your quarterback he sucks, probably not the way to go. But was he wrong? Was he wrong? I'm just saying, was he wrong? I don't think he was wrong. And of course, he has a whole lawsuit thing with the NFL. It's a mess. But if I'm a team, I'm hiring Brian Flores. If I'm the Bills, I'm hiring Brian Flores. But back to Mike McDaniel and the Chargers, that is just a great hire. And if he doesn't end up taking a coaching job, head coaching job, him and Herbert are going to pair very well. And I'm interested to see how they're going to use Hampton, and how the weapons work. If they draft another weapon, I think they probably should draft another weapon at some point in the draft. But I'm just really encouraged because guess what? Greg Roman is a terrorist. That guy effing sucks. He's bad. He's very, very bad at calling plays. Definitely should not get a coaching job. He probably will because, coaches got buddies all around the league. But yeah, I'm not a big Greg Roman guy. So the upgrade is outstanding. I mean, it is a huge upgrade to Mike McDaniel as a play caller. So yeah, I really like that hire. But back to Minter, back to our original topic of discussion here. Yeah, phenomenal move. I there's not much else I can say about it. I think he's going to immediately provide a good defense. And this is a team who I'm not going to blame them because I've talked about this numerous times with my Seahawk friends. Oh, they should have just kept Mike Macdonald. Why did they let him go? Why did they let him go? They should have just fired Harbaugh then and then hired Mike Macdonald. And yeah, it sounds great to do that. But if you look at the context of when Mike Macdonald left the Ravens, they were off of a 13-4 season, just went to the AFC Championship and had like the best season under Lamar probably, like as a whole. Like in terms of success, the team, like it was a stacked team. So you're not going to fire Harbaugh after that. You just cannot. So for anybody saying, "Oh, well, they had Mike Macdonald in their back pocket and they just let it fall out," they let Mike Macdonald leave. It's like, what did you want them to do? They went 13-4 and went to the AFC Championship game and played the Chiefs really, really close and probably, if they run the ball more, should have won that game. So I don't want to hear nothing about that. Like, keeping Harbaugh was the right choice there. You have no idea what Mike Macdonald can be. And is he a great coach? Yes, he's a great coach. But sometimes great coaches leave your organization and you wish them farewell because they were great for you. Go be great for someone else. Go get paid. Go call plays somewhere. Go be a head coach somewhere. That's what you do. You let them go. Was it a blunder? Probably, but hindsight is 2020. You cannot say that. But guess what? Jesse Minter might be the next Mike McDonald. Might be the next genius defensive culture setting play caller that we see. And I see a lot of similarities in the two. So I really, 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 really like this hire. I really like it for the Ravens. All right. Let's move on to the Bills. I think it's Terry Pagula, but let me just search up the guy's name, the clown's name, because the guy is just an idiot. Yeah, Terry Pagula, the president of the Buffalo Bills. Never put this guy in front of a mic ever again. Like, maybe the worst performance in front of a mic since, like, I don't know. Probably some, like, town hall meeting where some guy was really nervous or something and couldn't speak. That's probably the second worst. But this guy made Jerry Jones look competent, like, at his job, and he's not. I mean, okay. Jerry Jones, you had a pretty good off season. It didn't lead to a playoff spot, but I thought for the most part you did pretty good. So, you know what, Jerry, sorry for the slander. But hey, you got a bunch of picks now. You better use them wisely. But anyway, Pagula, the guy is garbage. The guy should never be within a 50-foot radius of a microphone. And I think that's pretty common across the league. I think if you looked, most owners are probably less competent than Jerry Jones. I think that's probably something that exists, and we don't want to admit that. And we're like, oh, Jerry Jones is so bad. But it's like, you know, Jerry Jones is one of the only ones who can actually probably be in front of a mic and be like pretty competent. So, you know what? I'll give you that, Jerry Jones. That's pretty good. But Pagula, the guy's an idiot. He's a dumbass. I mean, I can't stop throwing out insults about him. He's not a smart football guy. You know, he's probably, I don't know the whole story of how he's the president, but, you know, just like, what are you talking about? First, he says, so basically, they asked him a question, and it was like, oh, like basically they were talking about the loss of the Broncos. And he screamed, like they're talking to Brandon Beane, the GM, who should have been fired, by the way. So just a ton of incompetency in this whole press conference. But they're talking to Brandon Beane, asking him a question. And then all of a sudden, Pagula pipes up and he's like, we lost because of a penalty or whatever. And then they're talking about firing McDermott. And they're like, Pagula's like, well, he was fired because of the loss of the Broncos. So you basically fired him because of a penalty. If that's what we're talking about here. If you're going to say you lost because of a penalty and you say you fired your coach because of that loss, you lost because of a penalty, or you fired your coach because of a penalty. Not looking at the rest of his entire career in Buffalo, in which he has made the playoffs countless times. And let's be real here, and everybody's pointing this out, Brandon Beane did not put together a competent roster this year. Not good enough. And when he had capital, when he had a first-round pick that he knew would be late in the draft, he did not want to go out there and trade for Jacoby Myers. He didn't. They were going after Waddle, who was never going to get traded. Go trade for Jacoby Myers. You know what he could have done in this offense, provided Josh Allen? Brandon Cooks was your wide receiver one down the stretch. That ain't going to cut it. That is not going to cut it. At all. At all. So, I don't want to hear nothing about Sean McDermott being the weak link here. Because I'm looking at a president who's incompetent, and I'm looking at a GM who is incompetent. Look at Brandon Beane's draft history. It's pretty damn bad. And guess what? His 2024 first-round pick is about to leave the building, leave the team. I guess he was second-round pick, like the 34th pick or whatever. He's going to leave because the owner, president, whatever the hell he is, decides to call him out and say, oh, the coaches wanted him in the draft, not Brandon. And he sucks. That's basically what he said. He said that, oh, he just sucks. What are you doing? What? The guy's still on the team. He's like probably like 50 feet away in the locker room or wherever the hell he is. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop, 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 stop. How long has this guy been in the league? You don't call out players like that. That is how you get a. I mean, I am aside from whoever they hire, I am genuinely worried for the locker room right now. Like, I feel like it has got to be a different kind of just like, this sucks. Like, there is something wrong here. Like, this culture is not it. Like, this could get ugly really quick. And I'm not going to say they're going to miss the playoffs next year because I don't think they will. But, like, dude, I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on. And now I'm kind of wondering if the players and especially Josh Allen even wanted this to happen. Like, I'm not so sure anymore that Josh Allen was on board for this. I'm really not. I'm almost considering the fact that they just fired his head coach out of nowhere. This is getting really, really bad in Buffalo. And now they're interviewing Phillip Rivers. I love me some Phillip Rivers. Great guy. Phenomenal teammate. He is not a head coach. He's a head coach at a high school? And trust me, it'd be the best story of the year. Phillip Rivers going to coach the Buffalo Bills. What would be even cooler is he ended his career in Buffalo, losing to them in the playoffs. Fun fact. But I don't think he's the right option. I know they've interviewed Dayball. At this point, that's probably your best bet. Flores, like I said earlier, would love Flores in Buffalo. But there just feels like there's a ton of incompetence here, a ton of idiocracy. Whatever you want to put out there, it feels dysfunctional. And it feels like the same old Buffalo Bills who, since losing 4 straight Super Bowls, had done nothing. And guess what? They got lucky and they drafted a super raw kid out of Wyoming. And they were able to develop him somehow. But even that, it's rare. Look at Anthony Richardson. It's the same story. A guy who in college was not accurate, had a cannon of an arm, was mobile. He hasn't developed. This doesn't happen. Josh Allen is not only Superman on the field, but he's Superman for this organization. He's saved them. He's took them to new heights they didn't know was possible. And I really, 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 really hope they did not just piss him off by firing his head coach. Because I'm sure he loves Buffalo. But now, just who knows? Who knows? I mean, I'm not going to say he's going to leave, but who knows at this point? Who knows? You don't know. I don't know. But his contract probably ends in 2 to 3 years, I think. So, something to think about. I'm not saying he's going to leave. I think he loves Buffalo. Hopefully they get the coach right. Hopefully they bring in, honestly, at this point, you got to bring in like Dayball or somebody close to him or promote Joe Brady. Try to save that. I think if you just kind of hard reset, bring in a guy from outside who, who knows? I mean, who knows who it could be. But if you do that, like, then you're really getting into some weird territory with Josh where it's like you have uprooted his entire understanding of what a coaching staff is. And why would you do that? He's playing the best football of his career. So, just a disaster. All right. Let's move on to the championship games. We'll go through them. We'll go through our predictions here. Let's start in the AFC side. What's generally the consensus is this game is going to suck. But maybe I'll be able to persuade you to why it won't suck. Stidham versus May. The quarterback gap could not be larger. Stidham hasn't thrown a pass in a few years. He's been the backup all year. He hasn't what's so funny is Denver was the only team in the NFL to not play their backup quarterback once this year. I mean, they were in close games all year. They kind of needed Bo Nix. And then, of course, in the biggest game of the season. They need their backup. 2 more games, Stidham. I will say it's 2 more games. 2 more games, and you join Nick Foles, a number of other backup quarterbacks, as legends of the game for taking. And obviously, I mean, let's be real here. And if we're talking about this game alone, Sean Payton is going to create a easy game plan for Jarrett Stidham. And this is all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say about Bo Nix. Not once this year have I thought of the Broncos' success as primarily Bo Nix. Not once. Sure, in the Packers game, he was phenomenal. Sure. But I think that's where Broncos fans can be somewhat optimistic. This isn't like losing Josh Allen, where he's kind of your whole team, your whole offense. Patrick Mahomes. Bo Nix is a good player, but he's not one of those guys. He's not one of those detrimental losses, in my opinion. It sucks. It probably lowers your chance by 10, 20, 30% chance to win the Super Bowl, for sure. But I think in the grand scheme of things, you can get by, especially this game. Do I think you can win the Super Bowl against the Rams or the Seahawks? Probably not. Probably not. That's a tough task. That is a very tough task. But do I think you can win this game? Absolutely you can. Absolutely. The Patriots offense has not been good so far to start these playoffs. And I mean, they faced 2 really tough defenses, the Chargers and the Texans. And the Texans one was in the snowy rain in Foxborough. So am I going to give them a ton of shit for that? No. But nevertheless, they've had a really, really tough time protecting Drake May. And Drake May has had a really, really tough time holding onto the ball. We saw that a week ago in the Denver game. They forced a ton of turnovers of Josh Allen and got pressure on Josh Allen. That is what they need to do against Drake May. Bonito, Cooper, Allen, those guys on the D-line, they have got to generate pressure. And I'm looking at Bonito on Will Campbell. Will Anderson ate Will Campbell alive last week. And of course, Will Anderson. Bonito's not as good as that. But that's what they need to do. They need to get pressure on Drake May and force those fumbles. Because at this point, I have no faith that Drake May is going to hold on to the ball. The guy is just fumbling all over the place. So if they can force turnovers there, that's going to be big. You look at the rest of the Patriots offense. I think the Broncos have the personnel to cover them. They have some good players. Booty, Diggs. But it doesn't stand out to you. It's kind of like the Bills last week. Only the Patriots don't have Josh Allen. You can say, oh, Drake May's better. Look at the stats. I do not care. He's not Josh Allen. So, do I think the Broncos defense can stop the Patriots? Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, I do. And at the very least, the Patriots might score 24 points, 28 points. But I think they're going to be able to get the turnovers. I really do. Patriots are not taking care of the ball. Do I think Vrabel will get that worked on and probably get it fixed? Yeah. But I just think that could be a problem for the Patriots. So you look at that side of the ball, I think the Broncos stand a real chance at stopping the Patriots for the most part. And now Stidham. Patriots defense has been phenomenal. Ever since Milton Williams has come back, I mean, they've just played so good. But you look at the Patriots defense, they're also hard to judge because they just faced a quarterback who sucked in C.J. Stroud. The offense was horrible. It was in the weather. Couldn't do anything. And they face the Chargers. They don't have their 2 tackles. Their O-line is garbage. Herbert was just in constant duress. And, I mean, the Texans don't really have an O-line either. Broncos have the best O-line in the league. So if that's where you look at Stidham and his situation, you have the best O-line in the league. You have a pretty good running back in Harvey. If Dobbins was able to go, that'd be huge. But that's for next week. If Dobbins can go, I mean, Dobbins should be able to go next week in the Super Bowl. You'd think, because if he was almost ready to go this week, next week in the Super Bowl, he should be ready to go. but pretty decent running back in Arby. You got some decent receivers. Sutton, Mims, Franklin. I think that's enough. I really do. If they can just protect Stidham, I think he's going to be able to do enough. I really do. And that is why I'm going. Well, what do I think? 20? No, I don't think they're going to score 20. 17-16 Broncos. 17-16 Broncos. That's my final prediction. I just think they're going to get it done. I think everybody's going to be like, oh, New England's got this. New England's got this. New England's got this. I think we're going to see this defense step up. We're going to see Stidham do enough. We're going to see this O-line protect him. We're going to see a great game plan from Sean Payton. And the Denver Broncos are going to win this game 17-16 and advance to the Super Bowl. This is Super Bowl. All right. NFC time. Rams, Seahawks. Oh, my God, voice crack. Rams, Seahawks. By far the best matchup out of the two. We've seen this game twice. Rams won one. Seahawks won the other. Rams probably should have won both. And that's what I'm going to use. The Rams were up 16 on the Seahawks in the fourth quarter. And it took a punt return touchdown, the most insane batshit second or 2-point conversion I have ever seen in my life. Took those two things. And it took overtime to beat them, to beat the Rams. And here's the other thing. Sam Darnold. All right. Sam Darnold. Come on. Sam Darnold. His kryptonite is the Los Angeles Rams. In like what? He has 6 picks in 2 games this season. I don't think there's a bigger example of my philosophy as it comes down to the coaches and the quarterbacks than this game. Both teams have great rosters. Both teams have comparable offensive lines. The Seahawks defense is better, but I still think the Rams defense is good. Both teams have phenomenal weapons. They probably have the 2 best receivers in football. Puka on the Rams, JSN on the Seahawks. So, at the end of the day, when you have teams that are so close like this, it comes down to the quarterback and the coach. And you look at the matchup. McDonald versus McVay. I love Mike McDonald. He's a great coach. Phenomenal coach. Give me McVay. Give me the Super Bowl champion. Give me one of the greatest play callers in NFL history. Give me the best coach in the league, Sean McVay. You look at Darnold and Stafford. It's not close. Give me the MVP of the league. At the end of the day, you can say, oh, the Seahawks defense will shut him down. Well, guess what? Last time they played, he put up 30 plus on them. And Puka went for 225. In Seattle. And they had the lead, 16. They had a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter. Great win by the Seahawks to come back. But if I'm sourcing from that game to decide how this one's going to go, I'm much heavily going to favor the team who was up 16 and kind of dominated the game and got the turnovers. So, at the end of the day, you look at that philosophy, give me the Rams, man. Give me Stafford, give me McVay. They've been here before. Sam Darnold has not been here before. He's never been in an NFC championship. Mike McDonald's never been in an NFC championship. All right? McVay's been in a ton of them. He's, 3 or 4 now? Stafford was in one, won it, went to the Super Bowl. I am just going to go the Rams and trust Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford over Sam Darnold and Mike McDonald. That's not taking anything away from them. You look at the APA charts right now. They are in the top right corner. I guess the top right corner of the EPA charts for offensive EPA and defensive EPA per play. They're playing insane football right now. But they also just played one game, and it was against an injured Niners team. The Rams are going to put up a better fight. I'm going 24-20 Rams. They get it done, and they're going to the Super Bowl. Now it's set up a Rams-Broncos Super Bowl, and I think it would be a really close game. My current prediction at the start of the playoffs was Rams-Patriots, so part of me also wants to root for that to get that prediction right. But at the end of the day, I think this is going to be two really good games. But all right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't really think of anything else to talk about right now in sports. Yeah, I enjoyed these two upcoming games. It should be cinema. Should be awesome. The NFL playoffs this year have just been awesome. Um, yeah, and then after this, I mean, we only got one game left, so that's gonna be the Super Bowl. Cherish it while it's still here. You'll miss it when it's gone. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. All those things help out a ton. Yeah, check out Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Stay safe, enjoy your day, and have a good one.